and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to take sort of a higher global view of the nonprofits in the area. I know we spend a lot of time talking about each one and what they contribute to our community, but this is going to be a little different. My guest is Karen Dutro from Network Peninsula. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you took this global look at the nonprofits in the area. But first, before we get to your report, tell us what your group does, how you support nonprofits.
Network Peninsula, we're a 501c3 organization, and we work to support other local nonprofits on the peninsula. We provide tools to help them fulfill their missions effectively. We provide continuing education, board training, information sharing, and expanded outreach. And we believe that strong nonprofits are key to healthy, vibrant communities, and we believe that stronger nonprofits are made stronger by connected communities. So.
And that makes sense because, I mean, we have some very, very large nonprofits, but we also have some really
a lot
tiny
of small,
ones who, depend on one dynamic person getting it started and don't necessarily have a continuity or whatever. So how do you, take this look and what do you see as the needs of the nonprofits?
Well, on the peninsula's a little different from, I've worked in the Richmond area and I'm aware of the south side. And the peninsula is very different in that it is a lot more small to medium-sized nonprofits. We don't have a lot of, we don't have foundations that provide grants to nonprofits, that provide significant grants. And even corporations. We don't have a lot of very large corporations.
We don't have as many headquarters here.
So the funding sources are minimal. So that's why a lot of individuals may feel they're overwhelmed by nonprofits coming at them because it is a struggle for nonprofits. But it's also a very valuable sector on the peninsula. We're coming up on this season of the State of the City addresses that will happen in Hampton, Newport News, and other cities. And a lot of times the focus is on the for-profit sector and their value. And I would say what goes often unsaid is the value of the nonprofit sector and in helping to make those businesses. When you employees make up a successful company, successful employees, when those employees are looking for a job, they're going to go into that community, they're going to look and see if the streets are safe, if the schools are good, if there are recreational activities, what's happening in that community. And nonprofits have a part in all of that.
Right.
And so that's what we try to do with Network Peninsula is we try to advocate for their value because, they're providing job training, they're providing before and after school programs, animal welfare, arts and culture. That's what nonprofits do. They're doing that and they're helping to make those communities stronger and safer and more vibrant. And so those employees are coming into those companies. And even the nonprofit sector alone is a significant contributor to the economy, even on the peninsula, even the small and medium ones. We did do this study last year. We did the first ever study of the nonprofit sector on the peninsula. And what we found, what was one of the most exciting results of it, was that 49% of the nonprofits who completed the survey created new positions, not just filled open positions, created new positions. And 37% of those anticipate creating new positions this year. So that's a big boost to our economy.
It is because, for so long there was the recession and then the part that wasn't recession but still felt like recession.
Right, that's right.
There was a lot of need for services but not necessarily the services available because there wasn't as much contributions. Things had really slowed down. So you're seeing an increase in a projected.
Oh, absolutely. And there is an increase in demand for services. And absolutely. We found that, for the most part, our nonprofits are equipped to handle that. There's always the worry that needs will go unmet if the funding doesn't come through. And that's what we work to try to help them with. We provide continuing education and workshops on how to, better your fundraising and build relationships. But I was pleasantly surprised that we have a great nonprofit sector on the peninsula. It's a valuable sector. we found that volunteers, and 36,000 volunteers was what we came up with that from this survey that helped nonprofits.
Let's talk about
That's a
that
huge
for a minute.
number.
36,000 is a very big number, I think, for an area our size.
Absolutely. And part of that, to me, was 74% of the volunteers are retirees. So again, nonprofits are helping to boost the communities by providing these opportunities for seniors to stay active.
Seniors stay active, people who, have been through their work careers.
That's right.
And want to do something different or fun or different kind of contribution.
Yeah. Yep.
And especially, we have a lot of military retirees.
Right,
here.
and we did find that too.
And they come from a tradition of service, but also they tend to retire a little earlier than folks in the private sector.
Right. And they're disciplined, they know leadership, they know, just everything you want in a volunteer. They know it. That's how they've been, how they've worked their entire lives. So,
but it is also a scary thing to think about how reliant we are on retirees. And is it just the age and the freedom that they have, or is it a generation that is, going to go away, and will the subsequent generations replace in that same way?
I think so. I mean, we did look at millennials, and there's a good deal, a good percentage of millennials that volunteer. They want to do different type of volunteer. What we're seeing on boards, they don't want to sit at a board meeting.
They want hands-on.
Right. They want to get out there. So that's good for nonprofits. That just means we need to just, re-examine how we invite board members and what we do at board meetings. I mean, I can't imagine anyone says they like sitting at a board table for an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours. So it's really a call to nonprofits to look at things differently and try to do things differently. But I think, my own kids, they volunteered. I don't remember volunteering when I was growing up. I don't remember it being a thing, and that's nothing against my parents or our schools. I just don't recall it being anything. But I've seen it with my own kids. I mean, they grew up volunteering. Their schools encouraged it. So I don't see it dying out. I think it just will look differently.
Well, that's good. It's healthy to change.
Absolutely.
And find different ways. But as, one of the stereotypes of the millennial generation, which not everybody fits in, but it is this community service contribution kind of ethic.
And groups, they want to work in groups. And, again, my kids had group projects in school. A lot of their grades depended on group projects, which is completely something new for me. But as a volunteer, they want to volunteer together. They want to have fun. They also want to volunteer. They want all this the GoFundMe pages, things like that. They want to come up with their own ideas. So again, it's different thinking, and so it's more we're trying to help nonprofits kind of roll with that and learn how they can adjust, because we have to adjust.
And your research can help guide. And the interesting thing is you and the organization can help hundreds, I'm going to guess, of nonprofits we have in this area.
Right. We've had, over 300 nonprofits access our programs, whether it's the continuing education or the board training, or just overall, we try to connect the community at large with the needs of nonprofits. And that's been a fun part for me, that and really how we started was just to let community members know of the items that nonprofits might need, things that help their bottom line. If they don't have to buy that office desk, then they've just saved money and they can put that into programs. And so really just a way of getting community members to know we can get involved, even if we're not able time-wise or money-wise. We're about to replace our computer is not broken, it's still working, and here we have, I can send it out in one of our weekly updates, and we get nonprofits, I always do first come, first serve, and they know that, and if I put computers out there, we get a lot, or office furniture, or paper, just random things, file cabinets, things like that, and then just volunteer needs, so it's really just about awareness. I think everyone wants to help and wants to get involved, but they don't know where to go or where to start.
Yeah, they don't know what the opportunities are. They don't know what fits them.
Right, that's
They're
right.
Not sure.
That's right. And so that's what we do, try to find something. There really is something for everyone. We have a youth network where we have volunteer opportunities for students of all ages. And we have some ideas on there about, ways even little kids can do it. They can cut coupons for diapers. They can make placemats for seniors at nursing homes. There are a lot of different things that everyone can do, really.
So how do people get piped into this? If whether you're a regular citizen, whether you're a business, how can we get involved in the network?
Well, excuse me. Our website is networkpeninsula.org, and they can just go on there. They can sign up for our newsletter. We send it out every Tuesday, only Tuesday, just to let everyone know what's the most recent news, the needs, the volunteer needs, the item needs, and the upcoming events. They can contact me about business partnerships. Our businesses are just very valuable to us because they understand, the need to support this nonprofit sector and the need to make them stronger and to help them, develop leaders. We just started the Nonprofit Management Institute with Thomas Nelson Community College, which is the first of its kind on the peninsula.
Because people get involved and start an organization because they have a passion and they see a need.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean they know how to do the legal paperwork and the accounting.
And that's absolutely on target.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot to learn, and it changes.
Working with young people, that's what you want to do.
You don't want to do
that stuff in the office.
Right, and so this institute has been, really fantastic. I mean, we have top quality instructors and really helping people to understand that it does take more. We are a business. It's a nonprofit, but it is a business. The only difference is our money at the end of the year goes back into the programs.
Right.
But we still have to, do business practices, do best practices whenever possible. And so, we do try to help because we do have a lot of people who started a nonprofit. I mean, I started a nonprofit on a passion. I had experience as a development director and in that field, but some don't. And so we do want to help them. And we want to help them, connect them with other nonprofits that may be already doing it and that maybe they can walk alongside with instead of starting another nonprofit.
Right.
Because that's all, that should be a first option, really, because there are a lot of nonprofits and people do get overwhelmed by different solicitations, and we understand that. But I think it's about just understanding the value of this sector, that it's not just, a handout or just another charity. They're providing valuable services that if they weren't here, who would be doing it? I don't, for profit, it would be too expensive.
Right.
Government, it might take a little longer, too long.
Government's
too much
tax
red tape
dollars are not
right.
really increasing very
Right.
much. It's hard to expand programs.
Right. So.
Well, so what are the needs? One of the things I noticed about the survey is that you also asked, where are the needs, or where are the needs increasing for nonprofits to fill?
Yeah, and back to volunteers. I mean, there's a need for skilled volunteers. So we do, we have a lot of small to medium nonprofits that can't afford accounting services, so they need help with that. They need people who have that background and can, look at their reports every month and just make sure they're doing, check their QuickBooks and make sure everything's on board, above board, and outreach, just increasing their awareness. And again, that's what we're trying to do, is help nonprofits with, not necessarily their direct marketing efforts, but just helping to raise awareness for the sector. And then hopefully through that, someone will come to our site and, want to learn about what nonprofits out there help children or help seniors. And so that was a big need, was the awareness, just raising awareness for them.
But I also saw in the survey the sort of need categories that we need nonprofits to do, or that nonprofits saw more gaps in the community. And I noticed housing and youth programs were kind of the top two.
Yeah, the housing, I think that's, affordable housing is always an issue. It's been, and I think it's across the peninsula, across the country, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have a lot of great groups working together. Youth programs, we have what Network Peninsula formed a youth coalition of. We had about 20 to 25 youth serving agencies, and they met every couple of months to talk and really to share, because what you need, what they understand and want to do better is connecting. If you're helping in an after-school program, you want to be sure that you're helping all of that child's needs, and so you may need to connect with other nonprofits who work with the family or who provide financial, aid or training or job training, things like that. So you're working with the whole family. So I think that was a big part of that survey, that you kind of need to work the whole continuum. And someone explained it to me one time, that like pearls on a necklace. Each nonprofit provides a different pearl, and it all comes together to make that. Because you have to help the whole family, the whole person, and then that. So
that is a big deal, because you can't. Each one has to sort of specialize,
right.
But you have to have that network
Right.
of knowing who to contact, how to work together.
That's right.
How does your specialization work with the
right,
clients
and
I'm serving?
Yeah, and the needs all come together. I mean, we learned that initially with the STEP program in Newport News, and I had worked with them a little bit as they were starting up the youth program, the youth employment program.
Mm-hmm.
And what they learned through that was a lot of the youth coming through the program were still going home to dysfunctional families, and so those families needed help. And so they were able to do that and connect them with nonprofits who could provide those other services, because you can't, I mean, it's kind of basic. You have to help the whole, you have to look at all the issues that,
Right.
Because, and even with housing, there are different initiatives to do the housing first, and then figure out the job training and the job, and the placement, and all the little pieces. And there's question about, do you do the house first or the training first?
And we've flipped on that whole aspect. It used to be you had to get clean if you were on drugs or alcohol. You had to do X or Y in order to be housed.
That's
and now,
but there's a lot of
Sister
research.
David Ann who said, they've really flipped that. And I think I heard it from the CSB and from a couple other organizations. You need someone to be stable before they can do those other things.
That's absolutely right. And there's been a lot of research, and so I think we're heading that way. And again, it forces nonprofits to change, to adapt to these things, and I think they do that very well.
Well, and doing the research and sharing the research helps each one of them learn to change, learn to fill the gaps, learn to adjust for a new population or new environment.
Right.
I'm going to hit you out of the blue with this question, but are nonprofits hurting more now that the tax change law means that a lot of people can't deduct those contributions?
And there's been, research about that. I mean, I think you could find half people to say yes, absolutely, it was detrimental, people, but then you'll find another half to say,
I give
still
because I give.
Right, and I
not,
think what they're finding more is that it's the people who give over 1,000, that does make a difference. But what we're being taught, in all these classes that we offer, is it's the smaller gifts. Go after the smaller donors and build relationships with them, and then you build up to that 1,000, and then by the time you get to that 1,000, they're going to still give to you because
they're so committed to the cause.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the people that give the smaller gifts, I don't think it's had an impact. And there is a movement now, actually, and I think it's in the House of Representatives, maybe, to have some kind of flex account with employees where you can give tax-free to that account and then give to nonprofits. So who knows? And that's kind of a work around that whole tax law, but I don't know. I mean, everything's changing.
Right, as you said.
Again,
everything's changing, and that's why you're there to help them adapt to
and
those changes and use best practices.
Right, and that's where our business partners come in. We have someone like PB Mayers who's talking to us about the tax laws and, what do we do? And, or talking to us about accounting practices and fundraising. When I started in fundraising, it was direct mail. It's not much direct mail anymore. And
doesn't work with this generation.
Right,
for
and
sure.
emails, we're getting too many emails. So how do you find what's that sweet spot? And I don't know that we have all the answers, but we try. And and even just the networking that comes out of these workshops has been extremely beneficial for nonprofits, just to get to know each other. And again, back to that pearl necklace, so that they can work together, they have to know each other, and that often doesn't happen because you're kind of
Well, is there anything you want to add before we close, Karen?
No, I don't think so. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you for sharing with us. I think people don't always know what the nonprofits out there do and how much they contribute. If you had to pay for some of these services with your taxes, you would be paying a lot more. And being able to volunteer and give back or to contribute or to work with or speak once to some of these groups makes a huge difference in their ability to accomplish their missions, which benefit our community and all of us in the community. Thanks for watching.